valuable than morals.
Okay, where's your
My rebuttal. No, it isn't.
Okay.
That's your opening statement, though.
Money becomes more important than morals when you see yourself in a struggling or compromising position. Like, let's say, you're struggling and you're out on the streets and you see a dope dealer who's making $2,000 an hour. Of course, you're gonna navigate to that because you're struggling. You know you need money because without money, you can't move around anymore. Okay.
What she said.
Yeah.
All money isn't good money. And you can pay a higher price for money wrought with immorality. They're not good morals and bad morals. There's only good morals. Morals means goodness. Immoral means badness. And sometimes the money you get, karma is always lurking around.
But America was built on the immoral values.
I know, and here's what I do know. In the end, they all will fall, and they will all bow to goodness and the light. And so, therefore, what you reap today, you'll pay for tomorrow. And the price may be more than the $2,000 that you get an hour. For instance, you could end up with cancer. That's not something that money necessarily can make you win. People die from cancer, and they have all the money in the world. Money also does not buy happiness, even if it puts a roof over your head. Again, the real cost. We're not finished. Keep on, you know.
All right. If money is evil and it's not good as morals, why you use it?
I didn't say money was evil, but money is the root, usually, of all evil. There's a saying, follow the money. A lot of times when somebody does something and you follow the money and they've done it for the money rather than it was the right thing to do, then it's not worth it. And I'd rather tighten my belt, because all money is a tool anyway. I'd rather tighten my belt and do without the cigarettes or the liquor or the big fancy car. I might have to drive a hoopty for a while. But in the end, my integrity and my ethics are the foundation on which I stand. And they're more important than all the money in the world.
Well,
America thrives on money and not morals because there's more. Your morals can get changed regardless of like your situation. Like, let's say you're a rich person and you have all this company, but you built this company on illegal things. It's obvious that your morals are in the right place, but the way to use your money for like donations and stuff. Honestly, money helps people. I guess you could say it helps people morally, like inside. Because some people think, oh, I have all this money, I didn't get it the right way. I can donate it, and maybe that makes me a better person, or it makes them feel better about who they are or what they believe in.
There's a saying that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. America is now beginning to pay the price. It may not seem like it because you got Trump in office and it looks like he's winning, but he isn't, because I still believe in something higher, and it has to do with morals. I'm going to always do the right thing. And the reason I'm going to always do the right thing, because I'm not responsible for the outcome. I'm only responsible for the input. If the input to get money is bad, eventually I'll pay for it. And like I said, the cost might be higher than the dollars that I bring in.
People throw away their morals for money because of the need for money, as in like to grow. As you can tell, America was built on money. You can't get far in life without money. And you see these communities like Eastern Asians, like the Arabs and all that, they keep all their money within their community. So therefore, there's not enough money in circulation. Without that money in circulation, a lot of people that they live in America, they didn't come from another country, they're poor because their money is not held within their community. So that's when they revert to, let me just throw, I don't need to be a drug dealer, make money, or all to survive.
You make a very good point here, and that's about community. And in our community, we don't keep the dollars in our community, which is part of the problem. If we kept the money in our community, money would be more fruitful for all. And that's a moral thing, not a money thing.
Money becomes more important than more when you see yourself struggling.
When what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Money becomes more important than morals when you see yourself struggling. I know that this is not the analogy that maybe will be understood by men, but when you have children, when you actually have children, when you become pregnant and you give birth to a child, it's called labor, and it hurts, and it's a lot of work. But the end does not justify the means. If I smoke cigarettes and drink alcohol while I'm pregnant because I can, because it's available, because I have free will, I could bring a baby into the world that has damages beyond what you could even begin to imagine that fetal alcohol does to newborn babies. So I don't do that. I do the right thing. And while I may have to struggle for it, in the end, my struggles are worth it because I've done the right thing. And things will turn out all right.
Well, that's all we have. Thank you for this match.
So have you learned? Okay, so what did you all get from that? Yes.
Shut it down. No, they never.
It's like a silver lining.
Regardless.
Okay, okay, we're somebody's talking over here, I need you to listen. He said there's a silver lining and listen to both. That's a good point. Because did you hear me acknowledge that something that they said I could agree with? That means that I'm listening to them. Did you think they were listening to me though?
I was.
Sometimes. What'd you think about my responses?
Well, I feel
Too
like.
wordy, I know. You don't even have to go there.
Oh no, it's not even that. I feel like there you did have like some good points, but at the same time, how do people know when their like morals are they're changing their like who they are because of their intellect?
That's it.
But like some people they still believe in the same things even though they're.
But if you're not practicing.
Two things. Gentlemen, turn around. Pay attention. First of all, to answer your question, you said you lost. There's really no winner or loser in this debate. That's number one. And to answer your question, it's like let's use the drug addict for a minute. You guys see somebody in your family when addiction happens when you start to get out of your norm. Okay, so your morals change when you start getting out of your norm. When you start doing things and acting a certain way, when you start chasing money, I always tell people I put myself in a position where my money works for me. I don't work for money. Okay, because once you start chasing it, you're gonna run after the rest of your life. Trust me. And that's where your morals start to change. Okay, your morals stay intact when you don't sacrifice family, you don't sacrifice well-being, okay, you don't sacrifice anything that's morally correct. That's when you know your morals haven't changed. That's the best answer I can give.
Any more?
Any questions?
Okay, Sam?
I kind of like your response because it was like straightforward sometimes, and it was backed up with common sense too.
Okay, he says I use a little common sense, and I think that is how you debate. You know, my daughter, and I know I'm always telling a story, but I don't know how else to do this. But my daughter decided that because we weren't getting along, she wrote me a long letter. Mommy, I know that you and I aren't getting along, and I think I have the solution to our problem. I think we need to live in separate places. So I think that what we need to do is that you give me an apartment and you pay for it, And because I'm mature, I won't get into trouble, and I won't let a lot of people bring it. And she gave this whole thing about why we should live apart. And the thing that I responded to her, this was very well written. You bring your argument out wonderfully. I can almost get with it, except that there's one thing that stands in both of our ways. I'd love to put you in a different apartment, but it's against the law for a 12-year-old to live by themselves. You cannot be emancipated yet. So we're going to have to struggle together because we got to live
You're
together.
emancipated at 16, and you have to be able to prove that you're financially stable.
Right, right. But what did I do?
The way she made it sound was like she was at least 18.
Yeah.
I know.
But you acknowledge.
But what did I do? Did I say, you stupid girl, you don't know what you're talking about? You don't, did I do that to
No,
her?
you addressed her points and explained your reasoning of why it would be able to happen.
And I learned to be a better parent because of her. Because she drove me crazy.
You're a better parent than me.
Well, you know,
She'll call me
I
idiot.
had one of my daughters do the same thing, and I basically was about the same age, and I basically made it seem like that she was living on her own in my house.
Okay.
Okay? I don't cook for you no more. Excuse me. People.
No, it's me. I'm
Oh.
telling you, come back.
Okay, I don't cook for you. I don't get you up for school. These are your responsibilities. You tried that for about 6 months. Mine highly depend on Dad. Okay? Because the moment she needed something.
Daddy.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of different ways you can approach to parenting, as you say. You know, I just chose. I'm from the school of hard knocks.
How do you approach your parents? Like,
Pardon?
Okay, so our judges, have they had a chance to talk about what they heard and to give their response to the debate? Okay.
I think more